Long ago, in the land of Israel, a dark shadow loomed over the nation. King Saul, tall and strong among his people, had once led with confidence, but now fear hung like a heavy fog across the hills. On the two slopes that bordered the valley of Elah, banners of war fluttered. Campfires crackled at night, sending thin spirals of smoke into the starry sky as soldiers whispered among themselves, voices trembling. They polished shields that felt colder with each dawn, adjusted ill-fitting armor, and tried not to meet each other's eyes. Across the valley, the Philistines prepared their forces. Their shouts and songs of victory rose boldly, echoing off the cliffs. Drums beat a slow, confident rhythm that seemed to taunt Israel's hesitation. Every morning, as the sun spilled gold over the valley, a chilling ritual repeated. The ground seemed to quake under the heavy steps of Goliath of Gath. This towering giant stood more than 9 feet tall, wearing armor so massive it clanked and groaned with every movement. His bronze helmet gleamed. His spear shaft was as thick as a weaver's beam. Even his shield-bearer seemed small beside him. With a cruel grin, Goliath shouted across the silent valley, "Why have you come out to line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and you the servants of Saul? Choose a man. Let him come down to me. If he can fight and kill me, we will become your servants. But if I prevail, you shall surely be our slaves." Then he laughed, a dark, booming laugh that made the birds startle from nearby trees. Israel's warriors, once eager, now shrank back. Even seasoned captains could not hide the tremor in their hands. As Goliath mocked them day after day, 40 days in all, their hearts grew weary. Some men sat in tents, heads buried in calloused hands, praying silently that no one would call their name. King Saul watched from his pavilion. The lines of worry deepened on his brow. His counselors offered no solutions. His soldiers offered no volunteers. It seemed that God's chosen people would live forever under the shadow of a taunting enemy. Far from this valley soaked in dread, Bethlehem awoke each morning to the soft bleating of sheep and the songs of a young shepherd. David, the youngest son of Jesse, had a heart that burned with love for God. By sunlit streams, he strummed his harp, composing psalms that would one day be sung by countless generations. But this gentle boy was also fierce in defense of his flock. When lions crept through the underbrush or bears prowled the hills, David did not hesitate. With sling and staff, he faced beasts that would send grown men fleeing. One morning, Jesse called David from the pastures. "Take this roasted grain and these 10 loaves to your brothers at the camp, and these 10 cheeses to their commander. See how your brothers are doing, and bring back a sign to assure me they are well." David rose early, excitement lighting his face. He left the sheep with a caretaker and hurried along the winding roads toward the camp. As he drew near, war cries of Israel rose. But something in them sounded forced, hollow. David found his brothers just as Goliath stepped forward again. The sight of the giant struck him like cold water. He watched the mighty men of Israel recoil, eyes wide, shoulders slumping. David turned to those around him. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? Men glanced nervously. Some whispered that Saul promised wealth and even marriage to his daughter, to whoever would face Goliath. But no one moved. David's eldest brother Eliab overheard and burned with anger. "Why have you come down here? And with whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride and the insolence of your heart. You came down just to watch the battle." But David replied calmly, "What have I done now? Is there not a cause?" Word reached Saul. Soon David stood before the troubled king. Saul's eyes searched his face, finding no sign of fear. "You are not able to go against this Philistine and fight him," Saul said, voice heavy, "for you are just a youth, and he has been a man of war since his youth." David's reply was steady, full of quiet power. "Your servant kept his father's sheep. When a lion or bear came and took a lamb, I went after it. I struck it and rescued the lamb from its mouth. When it rose against me, I caught it by its beard and killed it. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." A hush fell over the tent. Saul's heart stirred with memories of his own early courage. Finally, he nodded. "Go, and the Lord be with you." Saul tried to arm David with his own tunic, bronze helmet, coat of mail, but David could scarcely move. He tested them, then removed them with a small laugh. "I cannot walk with these. I have not proved them." With only his staff, his sling, and his shepherd's bag, David walked down toward the brook. Cool water splashed over his sandals as he chose 5 smooth stones, each fitting perfectly in his hand. Then he began the slow climb toward Goliath. The giant watched and roared with laughter.
"Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Come here, and I will give your flesh to the birds and the beasts of the field."
But David's voice rang clear across the valley. "You come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. All this assembly shall know that the Lord does not save with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." David ran forward. He placed a stone in his sling and began to whirl it round and round. The leather hummed. Then he released it, and the stone flew like a bird on a mission. It struck Goliath square in the forehead. The giant's laughter died. His eyes rolled back, and he crashed to the ground. Armor clanged, the earth shook. David rushed up, seized Goliath's own massive sword, and with one swift stroke, cut off his head. The Philistine army gasped. Then, turning in terror, they fled. Israel's men let out a shout that shook the hills and chased them back to their cities. This story is more than an ancient tale. It's a living reminder that our giants, fear, addiction, despair, doubt, can be faced not in our own strength, but in the power of God. David was not stronger or better armed. His victory came because he knew where true power lies, in faith that moves forward even when odds seem impossible. So when Goliath comes, mocking you, telling you that you are small, remember the shepherd boy. Pick up your stone of faith, take your stand, and watch God do the impossible.